Prime-time local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
The election results are finally here, at least they will be later on this evening. We have the next couple of hours to have those final votes tallied, and then we will have a new government, the same government, or some kind of coalition. We'll have to wait and see what happens at the federal election level here. Josh Ryan, Abby St. John, going to be with you for the next 2 hours of news, weather, sports, and more. And we did get some reaction from some people in town, so it will be interesting to see. There's probably going to be a strong reaction regardless of who comes away at the end of this.
I think that's with anything. Only one party can win. So there's obviously going to be upset people if their party doesn't get in, but that's just how things go.
And we'll certainly find that out later this evening from Rosemary Falk's riding especially. Let's go out to Eric Bay. He was on location earlier.
Thanks, guys. Today we are out here in the town of Vermillion, and we are talking Small Business Week happening here all week, all across the couple provinces here, Alberta and Saskatchewan. And we will be talking about what is going on in Vermillion specifically. They did just have their awards night, so we're going to talk about that, who got recognized, and also some different events you can check out here coming up, help support some of these local businesses and those smaller businesses here around town. But before we do get to that, we are going to head back into the studio and take a look at your local news.
Today is Election Day, meaning this is your last chance to go out and vote. The 2019 federal election will be the 43rd time Canadians will be given a choice on a new government. It doesn't matter if you had a different perspective than others. All that matters is that you make sure your voice is heard. When speaking with some locals of the border city, they shared on why they think it's important to take time to vote.
Are you good?
Look at the last 4 years. So time for a change, I think.
I think it's really good to get our opinions out there. This is my first time voting, so it makes me feel kind of important, which is awesome.
It's our country. It's Canada. We've got to help run the country, and every vote helps.
Polls will be closing tonight at 7:30. It's not every day the mayor of a city goes to schools to read to students. Well, Mayor Gerald Albers was a guest speaker at an elementary school in the border city today, and our Jasmine King has more on how his presence is sparking excitement.
Mayor Gerald Albers headed down to Mother Teresa Early Childhood Education Center to read books to a few different classes throughout the morning, which is a part of Saskatchewan Provincial Education Week.
It's a great opportunity to speak to the kids and to read to the kids, because I think reading is the basic building blocks to education. And having the opportunity to come over today was great.
The city also likes to be involved around the city with Educational Week and for adults other than teachers to be included.
Helps promote it from the perspective of the city. It's just not teachers talking to them about reading and things like that. I think it's important that they have a positive reinforcement from other people in the community. And it starts at home, it starts with myself as the mayor, and being involved in the community and letting other people be in.
For Mayor Albers, reading to these young students reminds him of when he used to read to his children when they were younger.
It's really nifty. I guess it brings me back many years to when my kids were much smaller, and some of the books that we enjoyed. So it brings back great memories, and I think that's what's important, is that these are the future of our country and our community, and I think it's so important that we engage them now and spend some time with them.
Schools around the border city will be participating in activities surrounding Education Week until the 26th. Jasmine King, Primetime Local News.
A rare red carpet was on display at Cold Lake High School this past weekend for the first showing of Moments in Spacetime, an independent film locally produced and filmed. The evening was an emotional one for cast and crew, and a thank you to the city for helping to bring that vision to life. Our Josh Ryan has more.
After pulling off a creative endeavor that's never been done before in Cold Lake, the people behind Moments in Spacetime gathered together to share in their excitement over the film's release. Local actors, sponsors, and politicians gathered for the special screening, making the evening a delight and relief for the creative team.
We wanted to make something that, people would respond to in an emotional way, that would also be funny and endearing, and we wanted to take you in a direction that you're not quite sure of, but, in kind of a delightful way that you're always surprised, and as we watch the audience today, that seemed to be the case.
met all my criteria for a fantastic movie, and it made me laugh a whole bunch of times, and it made me cry too. It's got a lot of tear-jerking moments, and I was really impressed.
Watching everyone engage so much and laugh in the right spot, and cry throughout the movie. So yeah, that was amazing.
Supporting a film production in the area was a no-brainer for local administration.
It's the first time really a movie's come in and produced and filmed it throughout the city of Cold Lake, and so it was really exciting. A lot of people got behind the movie, helped out as they could, and volunteered as extras.
To come to the area and to have somebody local doing it, it was fantastic. We were more than happy to support it in any way we could.
The investment has already had some economic impact.
Probably a couple $100,000 was spent right in the city with shooting of the film. So, the city of Cold Lake was a proud sponsor. Over $10,000 we gave towards the film.
Ultimately, the evening was a thank you to the hundreds of individuals involved in the making of the film.
To go in and literally film at their house or their restaurants or their place, I think is you can see the synergy in the film. I think, I'm just really grateful for that opportunity for sure.
And the filmmakers' hope that this could result in future productions for the area is shared by its leaders.
Created a lot of discussion that, what else can we do out here in regards to filming? Because I know when they came out, they saw all these amazing different sites that would work for a number of different films. So
I think there's a lot of really great shots, with the military base here, the museum, the marina, the lake itself. There's the big trestle bridge we have in town. There's a lot of great opportunity to do a lot of great filming here in Cold Lake.
Next up, the film's official opening on October 25th, where they hope that people across Canada, in fact the world, will resonate with their story. Josh Ryan, Primetime Local News, Cold Lake.
Now we're going to Eric Bay, who was on location today.
Once again, we are back out here today in Vermillion talking about Small Business Week here with the Chamber of Commerce. And now Leanne Martin joins me, and you guys kicked off this week with your awards nights. Can you talk about that and how that went down?
We did. We had our awards night on Saturday, and we awarded Business of the Year to Stacey Teasdale, Piece of Cake, Event Planning, Wedding Planning, Rentals. And our Rookie Business of the Year went to Bailey Snellgrove. She owns and operates the Clear West Communications in town. Employer of the Year went to Kaylin Gordon from Connect Physiotherapy and Wellness. Employee of the Year went to Kim Clark from Cornerstone Co-op Pharmacy. And we also have Spirit of Vermillion, which was, the winners was McDonald's Family Foods. And President's Choice, which was they look at all of the nominations that come in and they kind of pick the person or the business that they think should be recognized as well, but didn't win an award or was very close second. And that went to Brandon Lauren, and he works at Main Street Hardware, and his customer service is exemplary, and that's why he won that award this year.
Very good. And now just really quick, what's the importance of, showing this stuff off and making sure people are recognized for the hard work they put in here in the community?
Well, in a town like Vermillion, we are nothing without our small businesses. Our small businesses support our schools, our hockey teams, our volleyball teams, all of the activities that happen downtown, like during Canada Day and during all the Good Life Institute events that happen. That's the Town of Vermillion thing. And so just without small businesses, a community like this just does not thrive. And so that's why it's really important for us as community members to be supporting our small businesses.
All right, thank you for this. And we are going to have some more from back here again with Small Business Week from Vermillion. But before that, we're going to head back into the studio.
Thanks very much, Eric. Plenty of cloud cover this evening, and that should continue for the next couple of days, +5 and dropping, unfortunately. We are definitely below the seasonal average for this time of the year. That shouldn't change. 21 degrees in 1998 is your record high, -11 in 2002, your record low. That's also the same date where the New York Yankees swept the San Diego Padres. So at least while it was cold in Lloydminster and Alberta, Saskatchewan back then, not as bad compared to what was going on in San Diego. Probably a lot of sorrow being drunk that evening. Southeast winds about 16 kilometers per hour. That should maintain for the next hour or so. Satellite and radar showing again plenty of cloud cover. Chance of some snowfall north of Cold Lake there. Currently we have 3 degrees in Cold Lake, 3 as well in Meadow Lake. Provost, a little bit warmer at 10 degrees, and Saskatoon, one of the few areas enjoying plenty of sunlight. They'll start to cool down, though, over the course of the next 24 hours. Edmonton at 6 degrees, North Battleford at 7, and Muirnam also at 6 degrees. A few areas overnight will drop into the low -1, -2 range. Wainwright at -3. Could see some rain in Muirnam and possibly in Pearceland as well, which should be at -2. That same goes for Bonnyville in terms of temperature. Your school day forecast, -2 by 8 a.m. Recess should get to +1. 4 by lunch, but things will start to cool down over the next couple of hours, and when the kids get out, it should be 3 degrees. 4 degrees for your high, -4 for your low tomorrow. Outside chance of some precipitation, but most likely it's just going to be very cloudy throughout the day. The wind calming down a little bit, but it will pick up in the coming days, and we do have a chance of snow certainly on Wednesday. 3 degrees, a low of 0 there, and then 7 degrees on Thursday, maybe some rays of sunlight, but -4 for the low. And again, a little bit cooler than your average for this time of the year. That's your 3-day forecast. We have 7-day forecast and much more coming up later on in the show, so stick around.
Prime time local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Welcome back. Well, every year the fall season brings in cooler weather, falling leaves, and the flu. In this week's retrospect, we see that the importance of getting vaccinated is still very high.
It's been a busy few days so far, bags filled with vaccines waiting to be used.
I don't think there's any harm in getting it done.
Especially important with diabetes and previous heart problems. It sort of protects me.
I think especially for people that maybe have issues with their lungs, etc. Instead of getting a bad flu, it's probably a good thing so they don't get so sick if they do get a flu.
We've had a lot of people in the community coming to get their annual flu shot, and we hope to see as many people as we can.
Flash forward to today, and pharmacies and clinics are making flu shots available.
We do see a rush to get everybody's flu shot, being that it started today is the biggest thing, and which is really positive outcome, because it's very important to get the flu vaccine in order to prevent the most vulnerable from contracting the disease and having complications from it.
The flu vaccine can be different every year, so getting it yearly is highly recommended.
Every year they pick 3 strains to vaccinate against, and that's developed by the World Health Organization. They forecast which strains will be in the communities, and then they make a recommendation. The vaccine is based upon that recommendation.
When it comes to the flu vaccine, there are some myths out there about the vaccine that, according to Scott Malik, are untrue.
The biggest one probably is that you can't get the flu from the flu vaccine. The vaccine that we have in stock is an inactivated dead vaccine. So essentially it's only viral particles in the vaccine that allow your body to recognize the virus when it encounters it, the real live thing in the community, and be prepared to fight it off.
Not only is the flu a dangerous virus, it can also be a financial burden through hospitalization.
The thing with hospitalization as well is it also adds a significant cost to the system. If it's a simple hospitalization, it's obviously expensive, but in some cases it becomes so severe that it results in an intensive care admission, which ends up being tens of thousands of dollars a day to the healthcare system and to taxpayers.
You can get your flu shot at a number of pharmacies in the city, plus at several opened clinics. To find an open clinic, visit 4flu.ca. And that's it for this week's Retrospect.
Retrospect is brought to you by Webb's Machinery. Webb's Machinery, your New Holland dealer in Vermillion, Bakerville, and Lamont.
And now we're going to take a look at your stock market prices for today.
First General Services. When you require prompt emergency service, the first F word that should come to your mind should be First General Services.
Welcome back. Well, the Canadian Food Inspection Agency has added more than 50 beef products sold at Whole Foods to the list of 800 plus beef and veal products recalled due to possible E. coli contamination. The food safety watchdog has been investigating possible E. coli in some meat products sold by Riding Regency Meat Packers Limited and St. Anne's Food Incorporated since late September. That's when the CFIA suspended the food safety license for the slaughterhouse and processing plants, which are both in Toronto. Potentially contaminated products were also sold at Walmart and other retailers across Canada. And a new breed of apple called Cosmic Crisp is set to hit the market on December 1st. Developed by Washington State University, the apple gets its name because of the bright yellowish dots on its skin, which look like distant stars. Kate Evans, who runs the breeding program at Washington State University, says the new variety keeps for a long time in storage and in the refrigerator is ultra crisp, very juicy, and has good balance of sweetness and tartness. Washington growers who paid for the research to develop it will have the exclusive right to sell it for the first 10 years. And now we're going to take a look at your egg prices.
We're a part of less than 5% of Canadian auto body shops and Lloydminster's only locations with certified collision care recognition at City Centre Auto Body.
The Wheatland football semifinal action took place in Lloydminster on Friday night, and our Evan Kenny has more.
Friday's action was do or die for all four teams involved. If we flash back to Friday morning before the game,
it's huge. It's my last season, so it's do or die, and got to make it happen or else the dreams ended.
And Fisk did exactly that. He helped the Raiders take down the Bonnyville Voyageurs 33-0. Fisk had a handful of carries for distance and one touchdown. Another guy who helped the Raiders, number 84, Brock Rogers. The grade 12 receiver played snaps on both sides of the ball.
But in the second half, we kind of realized, like, it doesn't really matter. We're gonna win this game. We're gonna move on and play the winner of the Comp and St. Paul game.
In the span of 2 minutes, Rogers had an interception, then turned it around. Touchdown! To score one of his 2 touchdowns on the night.
I haven't played defense in a while, so I don't know. Just after the first little half, the nerves went away and things kicked in high gear.
Yeah, real proud of the kids. They fired off the ball right from the opening snap, so they did a great job. Yeah.
Just a stone's throw away, the Barons sang a similar song. The offense was slow out of the gate, but the gates opened in the second quarter.
Oh yeah, first half was pretty rough. We weren't executing perfectly, but second half we came together as a team, we talked over it and played really good.
Amandrew passed for 4 touchdowns and added 2 of his own using the legs, even juking out the camera.
O-line, receivers, everyone was blocking, everyone was making plays for me, they're getting open. Just team play.
The 2 Lloyd teams will be the next to duke it out. The game will be at Armstrong Field on Friday. The last time these 2 teams played at Armstrong Field, this season, when the Raiders handed the Barons their only loss on the season.
Best games in Lloyd ever. And we've gotten a lot better since then, so it's going to be a real good game.
Evan Kenny, Primetime Local Sports.
Now we're going to Eric Bay, who was on location today.
Once again today we are back out here in Vermillion talking about Small Business Week and all that is going on here, and Leanne Martin joins me here once again. And now talking small business, you guys did start something new with your Vermillion Fair with the Vermillion Fair kickoffs. Can you talk about that and the promotion there to get people shopping locally here at smaller businesses?
Yeah, so we had the Vermillion Fair kickoff. It was the Wednesday before the fair in July, and all of our local businesses supplied coupons and prizes and stuff like that. We put them in surprise bags and we sold them as a fundraiser for the chamber, but also to promote all of the businesses and to promote local shopping. We also had a chili kickoff, which Kaylin Gordon from Connect Physiotherapy and Wellness won, and that was for the businesses just to kind of get them out and mingling with one another and stuff like that. So it was a huge success.
No, that's very good. We were there too, and tons of people there for sure before the rain started to hit.
Before the rain.
And so, what's I guess the importance? We mentioned putting that focus on these businesses again, and making sure that we support around here as well in Vermillion.
Yeah, we always just want people to be thinking about our local businesses. There's not much that you can't buy in Vermillion now. We've had so many businesses open, and just that support of the local businesses just goes right back into the community. They support all of the local organizations and the schools and all of the local clubs, and we just want to really make sure that they're being supported as well.
And now also Small Business Week is all about supporting and putting the focuses on those smaller businesses. So what I guess is the importance as well of celebrating that week here and making sure that the businesses are recognized, especially with that awards night that you guys did just have.
Yeah, so the week is really important. It just kind of is a week to highlight them, and so I'll be kind of going around all week and helping businesses to promote themselves on social media. Some of our businesses have some sales happening right now, and I've been promoting those on social media. For instance, the Men's Den just started a sale. Potential Health is going to be doing an event about stress and how it affects your body. And the jewelry store will be having a Hilberg and Burke event coming up. The Lighten Up Therapy just did a Halloween swap and all of the proceeds actually went to the local schools for lunch programs. So it was a huge success there too.
Awesome. Thank you for this. And we're going to have some more from back here. Again, continuing with Small Business Week out here in Vermillion. But before we do get to that, we are going to head back into the studio.
Still anxiously awaiting for results to pour in from the national election. As you can see here, the next 24 hours are actually relatively clear, at least starting off in the evening. Then when we get into Tuesday, it gets very cloudy, and that shouldn't let up. So a clearing of the sky overnight here, while it's still cloudy at the moment, but right back to cloudy conditions moving forward, especially on Wednesday where we have a chance of snow. You can see here again, the clearing off happens around 10 p.m. And then we have a couple hours of clear night sky before we head into tomorrow morning, where again, cloud cover will start to come in quickly, around 10 or 11 a.m. 6 degrees in Marwayne as well as in Vermillion. That's a few current temperatures here. 3 in St. Paul, 5 in Vegreville, 6 in Edmonton, 2 up in Lac La Biche, and 4 in Bonnyville. On the Sask side, around the same for average temperatures here. Green Lake, Meadow Lake, 4 and 3 degrees respectively. St. Walburg at 4, Maidstone at 5, Macklin, as always, a little bit warmer in the south at 9 degrees. And a couple of national temperatures, 10 degrees in Vancouver. That will definitely be a critical part of the election with a lot of votes up for grabs there. 9 degrees in Regina, 5 in Winnipeg, where they have a little bit of rain coming down, 13 in Toronto, 8 in Quebec, and 9 out in Halifax. Now, North Battleford sitting at 7 degrees, the wind also calming down, but that will pick up a little bit tomorrow. First, they'll have to deal with -3 for the temperature overnight. 7 is again their high for tomorrow. Some sun could come out, but it should be a largely cloudy afternoon. Cold Lake sitting at 3 degrees. They'll have a low of -2, and they're not going to get that warm tomorrow. Plenty of clouds, +5. The wind, fortunately, should stay in single digits on average coming out of the south-southeast. So the wind chill then not quite as extreme as it could be in the Battlefords or other regions. 5 degrees here in the border city, still dropping to -4 overnight. And again, some cloud cover, but a clearing off at a certain point as well. And then as the wind shifts to the southeast tomorrow, a high of 4, plenty of clouds, and that should continue on over the next couple of days. And you can see here 3 degrees and a low of 0 on Wednesday. Strong chance of snow there, 56%. 7 degrees on Thursday, and we actually do get a little bit of sunlight afterwards. A warming up to 11 on Friday with a high of, or low rather, of +2. And then unfortunately we'll drop right back into cold temperatures moving forward. +1 on Saturday, and then -3 Sunday with some stronger winds out of the northwest, so that could be quite cold. Monday, -1 and a low of -9, and plenty of cloud cover. We'll see if a chance of flurries develops later on in the week. That's been your 7-day forecast. We have question of the day, pet of the day, and more coming up on Primetime Local News.
Now we're going to Eric Bay, who is on location today.
Once again, we are back here today in Vermillion, and we are talking about Small Business Week happening here all this week, all across the couple provinces around here. And Leanne Martin joins me here once again. And now we've talked all about what you guys have been going on this week, but there's tons of stuff here coming up over the next couple of months to check out. So what will be going on around here?
Yeah, so in November, on November 29th, we're going to have the annual Nightlight Parade. And it will be a Friday this year because we're going to try to promote a Moonlight Madness that will go with that. And we'll also have a lot of other exciting activities that are kind of of in the works. We're hoping to have a fire downtown so we can sell s'more kits so you can make s'mores. And then of course the Junior Bees will be doing their hot dog sale again. The Rotary will be selling cookies at the same time. So we just really encourage everybody to come out. If you want to put in a float, the theme is Whoville. And then on December 7th, we have the Christmas Gala, which is a great opportunity for businesses to get together and have a Christmas party without all of the stress of planning. And it's also just great for local people to come out and grab a group of friends. You don't have to clean your house. You get a good meal out of it. We have the Cadillac Junkies coming as entertainment. And then also every year the Chamber plans a trip, and this year we're going to ancient Egypt and modern Dubai, and there's an information session on November 5th for that at the Chamber office at 6 o'clock, I think I have it planned for. But everything's on my website, vermillionalbertachamber.com, and also on Facebook. So.
All right, thank you for this, and we are going to have some more from back here again, continuing with Vermillion and all that is going on here throughout the Small Business Week, what you can expect, and also, as we did just mention, all that you do have to look forward to coming up over the next few months and helping to support those local businesses here and around town. But before that, we're going to head back into the studio.
So our question of the day relating, of course, to the election that's going down right now as the results come pouring in. What was the most memorable part of the cycle? Obviously, there's plenty to talk about. There was scandal. There was accusations thrown at both sides. But what our commenters have most commented on is, of course, the one English debate where all of the leaders were present for. And the lack of a good impression that debate left on the viewers as a whole.
Yes, we've already mentioned previously that the debate was very messy almost. It wasn't really structured that well. Not enough time for every leader to say what they wanted to say. People speaking over each other, arguing back and forth. So it's just very hard to understand what each and every one of them had to say because of the limited amount of time and the talking over each other.
And while talking over each other, a lot of insults thrown as well, which, again, looking at our commenters, that lack of civility didn't reflect very well.
No, and it certainly didn't help, especially if you were up in the air after that. But they do say that this election is going to be one of the tightest and closest in decades. So it's going to be really interesting to see how, once all the ballots and the votes are counted, see what the outcome is.
And we only have a few seats counted thus far. So far, the Liberals running away with it, but that is expected out east, so there's plenty to keep an eye out moving forward. Really quickly here, let's jump into Pet of the Day and start with Cider.
Very adorable. I love corgis, love the bandana, everything about this photo.
Next up here is Midnight.
Very adorable, beautiful green eyes looking up at the camera, super fluffy, very adorable.
And Winston is out enjoying the snow.
Showing that big smile he's got, super cute, and I love the name.
Ginny is bundled up.
Yes, probably a little bit cold or enjoying a nice nap. Very cute.
And we'll end with Bundy.
Very, very adorable, fluffy looking bunny. We don't see a lot of bunnies, but it's very cute to see.
Indeed, and remember, we need the pics and the name to get a shot at that free gift card, folks.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
Obviously, the election is on everyone's mind, but there's plenty to talk about in the world of sports this weekend. Evan Kenny in studio to join us, and we'll start with the Holy Rosary and Lloydminster Barons battle in the football gridiron. That, of course, is going down this weekend on Friday with both teams very successful in their semifinals against the Bonnyville Voyageurs and the St. Paul Lions, respectively.
Yeah, both teams offensively really put out, scoring 33 and 37 points respectively. And both teams actually shut down on defense, with the Holy Rosary Raiders actually shutting out the Bonnyville Voyageurs. So that's good to see, especially heading into this big battle, like you said, between the two Lloyd teams. Talking to Anton Amendrud after the game, he said, you know, we've changed a lot since that first matchup versus the Raiders, so should be an exciting one.
Absolutely. That, of course, was not a great afternoon for the Barons, who failed to get their high-powered offense going. And both teams actually did start slow out of the gate against their opponents this weekend. So that's something both will look to change heading into Friday.
For sure, only 7 points scored by both teams in that first half for each of their games. Like I said, they came on to score 30 points by the end of the game with Anton Amundrud. He threw for 4 and rushed for 2 of his own touchdowns there, so that's good to see, get the momentum going. And as well for the Raiders, their running game really picked up, and they really just pounded that ball through once they figured out throwing's not really the way to go in that game there.
And obviously the story will be whether or not Amundrud can get going offensively in this game, because the Raiders' defense has held strong all season, and the Barons have only had one bad offensive game, and it was against Holy Rosary.
For sure, players like Clay Vetter for the Holy Rosary Raiders really shut down on that D-line, and then they got some quick cornerbacks there with Dylan Oreo, just to name one there. So Anton will really have to get going with his legs as well.
And of course, we would be remiss without mentioning the start of the ACAC season. Basketball begins on Thursday, but first, the volleyball teams had their home opener Friday night. Not a great outcome for the women, who lost in 5 and then lost 3-0 the next day, while the men's side win in 4, basically lose a tight first set, and then roll their way through the rest of the weekend to go 2-0 to start the season.
Yeah, good to see for the men. Last season, King's College just barely snuck in front of them to make that last playoff spot. So that was good to see from them. And for the women, obviously they lost some key players from last season, and they were taking on the top team from last season, the only team in the ACAC with a better record than them last year. So there's room to grow there still. It's still early, obviously, in the season. So, I wouldn't worry too much about that.
No, certainly. The women's team has been a dominant force in the past couple of years. Really, the main thing for them is a couple of their younger players, even some older veterans, but younger in terms of experience, like Belle DeVries, like a Kaylee Lewick, Janae Varga. Girls on the team like that need to pass the ball a little bit better. For the guys, obviously, though, who want to make the playoffs this year, their veteran core showing up, especially an Aussie like Matt Peck getting a lot of kills on the left side.
For sure, it's good to see, and they're going to want to spread the ball out, get it moving, and not stay static. You want to keep that ball rolling and keep that momentum from that first win.
Yeah, and that's obviously something they had talked about this offseason, especially. Again, they are back in action after this weekend. They have a bye, and then will be on the next weekend, while basketball picks up on Thursday evening and afternoon. Back with Evan Kevin for more sports talk, heading into our election this Monday evening. We didn't get to talk yet about Lakeland basketball, so that picks up on Thursday evening, both the women and the men, starting at 6 p.m., then 8 for the men. Obviously, for the men's team, they lost a key player in Tay Holiday. Newcomer Quantez Simmons, though, looks like he shows a lot of promise.
For sure, throughout the preseason, he really took control as, he's the biggest forward on the team. That's saying something. He's only 6'5", but his athleticism is off the charts. He really took control, getting some of those gritty points and getting dirty in the paint. So that was good to see as well. A couple other key players. Adrian Richards will be a veteran guy coming in through the backcourt. So we'll really look for the team to lean on them heading into this season. And, they're taking on Nate. Lakeland went 6-0 throughout the preseason, so they got a good head of steam heading into this Nate series.
Absolutely, and as you said, Adrian Richards will be key, also Terrell Murdaugh. That's a very veteran backcourt, guys who can both score and also distribute the ball as well. On the women's side, obviously, they had a personal best season, not in terms of record, but where they finished with a bronze medal, at first in the program's history last year. And they have a tough competition in Nate, but they have basically their whole core back other than Caitlin Tanita, so they will hope that continuity serves them well here.
For sure, that veteran presence, just being able to lean on some of those players, and for them having that experience, taking on that high-quality competition. Head coach Chris King will really look to lean on them. And I'm sure he'll be happy with how the team will have to come out.
Yeah, and again, Bilge Topologlu, who we've talked before in this preseason, looks very strong so far when we've seen her in practice. And if she continues to hit outside shots, then that'll make it tough on defenses. Switching gears quickly to hockey, the Lloydminster Bobcats continue to lose games here in October, and they made a flurry of moves last week that obviously says they need a change in direction, change in culture within the locker room. A key pickup, obviously, Jackson Kaluski coming in from the Dub.
Yeah, for sure. He spent time with the Moose Jaw Warriors and the Seattle Thunderbirds. He played his whole minor hockey here in Lloyd, so that's good to see him come back, especially getting another veteran presence, another 99-born player. So to add to Chance Adrian, now they have 2 there. And as well, joining Chance Adrian, he's another WHL veteran who's coming back to the AJHL, so that's really good to see.
Absolutely, and obviously, there's a bit of a lack of confidence in that locker room when you lose this many games in a row. Having someone who knows how to be a professional in terms of being a junior hockey player can kind of lay a foundation for younger guys.
And he played for 2 elite teams in the WHL, Moose Jaw Warriors having Dale Hunter as their head coach, and the Seattle Thunderbirds, who have been winning games and throughout the last couple seasons have been atop of the WHL, so that's good for him to come back. As well, they'll be getting Brendan Morrow. They acquired him in a trade where they gave away defenseman Riley Hogan. So, I mean, he looked like one of the stronger D-men on that Bobcats core, but maybe there was some sort of issue we're not aware of that, he had to go. Or maybe Nigel Dubé is just trying to get a different look to the team.
And they certainly could get a different look, obviously, with their losing streak. Rapid fire here on a couple of topics in the world of pro sports. Obviously, really good start for the Oilers. Can they keep up this pace?
I don't know. It'll be tough, especially in that heavy West division where, you'll have to keep up that play and keep up the physicality side.
And obviously there's an opening tomorrow for the Toronto Raptors. They open their season against New Orleans Pelicans. Are your expectations still high, or are they a little lower this year?
They've definitely lowered after losing Kawhi. I mean, you kind of have to expect them to not do quite as good, especially after winning a championship. But I'm excited to see Spicy P tear it up a little bit.
Obviously, he's going to enjoy that brand new $130 million contract. And will possibly have more in incentives if he can be an All-NBA player or possibly win an MVP.